Hello everybody, welcome to the Texas Chef. My name is Stan McDonald. On today's show, I'm going to be cooking up one of my all-time favorite meals and also one of the great original foods from the state of Texas. I'm talking about the real deal here, folks. Authentic Texas chicken fried steak, except no substitutions. And to go along with that, I'm also going to be making up another great favorite from here in the Lone Star State, okra and tomatoes, and some wonderful ranch-style smashed potatoes. So thanks for dropping by. Have a seat, kick your shoes off. Welcome to Texas. Welcome back, folks. Let's get started. I've already got some water in a pan, and the first thing that we're going to do today to get started with this wonderful meal is we're going to get our smashed potatoes going. Now for this, I'm using red potatoes. And all you want to do is just dice these into small cubes. They don't have to be perfect because we're going to smash them up. Always put just a little bit of salt in your water whenever you're boiling potatoes. It's going to make them cook a lot evenly. It's going to make them cook a lot faster. And it's going to keep them from turning that horrible brown color that you see sometimes. It's great to have you folks stop by today. I'm certainly happy to have you here. You know, Texas is a wonderful place, and I love the food and the flavors of Texas. It's one of my favorite subjects. And if you follow me on my Facebook page, and if you visited my website, you know, we have a lot of fun there every day. So if you are just stopping by for the first time, feel free to stop by the Texas Chef Facebook page and also visit the website. We have a lot of great stuff on there, pictures, recipes. Now, we're going to take this and we're going to put it over here on the stove. Now, we don't have to worry about burning boiling potatoes. So we are going to turn this up on high. Well, actually, I think we'll turn it up on medium high. All right, we're good to go. We're going to get that going there. All right, the next thing that we need for our smashed potatoes is some bacon. You can never have enough bacon. And we're going to need some onion. What we're going to do, get out a few pieces of this great stuff. I love bacon, folks, as you can tell. Ooh, I already hear it singing to me over there. All we're going to do is just dice this bacon up into little pieces like this. And when you're working at home, folks, be careful with your knives. You don't have to be in a hurry. Take your time. Cooking's therapeutic. It's good for the soul. It's restful. We'll set that right there. Then we're going to come over here, and don't worry about contaminating your onion because we're going to cook all of this together. It's not going to harm a thing. I also love onions. And we're going to dice this up. And since I love onions, and since I'm going to be the one eating it, I'm going to add a little bit more. That ought to be enough right there. All right, we're going to take our mess and get it out of the way here. All right, now I have a skillet over here that I'm going to be using, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the bacon and we're going to take the onion and we're going to put it over kind of medium-low heat, and we're just going to let it cook at its own pace until the bacon gets nice and crispy. There we go. Get that on the stove. All right, here we go. Now I'm setting this on high to get it started, and once it starts cooking, wow, that didn't take long at all. Listen to that sing. Okay, I don't need it on high. I'm going to go ahead now and cut it down to about medium. I'm also going to add some salt and pepper. And I'm also going to add some garlic. This is going to be so good. Now I love buying this minced garlic. I love fresh garlic, don't get me wrong. But why stand around and chop garlic when somebody's already done it for you? Alright, let me give that just a little stir. Get those pieces of bacon all separated in there, all nice and pretty. Oh yeah, I love this stuff. This is going to be so good. I'm going to go ahead also, I'm going to cut the heat down just a little bit more too. Okay, so we got our bacon and we got our onions started. We got the potatoes on to boil. Alright folks, our potatoes are boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down just a little bit so water doesn't splash everywhere. They're still going to cook the same way, we're just lowering the heat a little bit. Alright folks, the bacon and the onion is ready. You see how the onions have just started to caramelize and the bacon's got that nice brown color? That's exactly what you're looking for. So we're going to take all this goodness that we just made, and grease and all, we're going to transfer it into this bowl, and we're halfway there on the smashed potatoes. Alright folks, good news. The potatoes are ready. I'm going to cut off the heat. Be careful taking them off the stove, don't burn yourself. And we're going to slip right over here to the sink. And I've got a colander down here. I'm going to pour them in there and let them drain for just a little bit. Oh yeah. And now we're going to put them right back into the pot. And we're going to set them right over here. Remember that bacon and onions? That's right. With all the grease too. That's going right back in there, baby. Just like that. Alright folks, the potatoes are ready. They got the bacon and onions in it. They're ready to be finished. And here's how we're going to do it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little butter. And this is real butter, folks. It's not margarine. We're going to put that in the pot. I have some chicken stock right here that we're going to pour in. Just a little bit for flavor. Right here is the good stuff. Cream. And this is real cream too. Then I have my little handy dandy kitchen smasher right here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to get in here and smash these potatoes up. Work them around. Get down in there. It's okay, they don't have to be completely mushy. You can have lumps in it. That's the best way to eat smashed potatoes. You want some pieces of those potatoes in there. Stir them around, and boom, look at that folks, they are ready. But we need to season them. And somewhere around here I have some seasoning. Now all this is just plain old salt and pepper because we already had garlic in the onions and the bacon when they were cooking. A really, really good rule of cooking on anything. Remember this. You can always add, but you can't take it out. So be careful with your seasonings. Be careful with anything that you're adding to food. You can always add to it, but you can't take it out. Okay, the potatoes are ready. Now it's time for the good stuff. Okra and tomatoes. I got a pot right here. Now don't hate me, please. I'm using frozen okra. The reason I'm using frozen okra is because we can't get any fresh okra right now down here. But frozen okra is great. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So I'm putting some frozen okra into this here pan. I had a little bit of onion left over from the potatoes. So I'm going to get that chopped up real quick. This is absolutely a dish that I was literally raised on. Now that's not enough onions. I just wanted to use what I had left over. And I'm going to put about another half onion in there. For you folks who visit me on Facebook and follow me on my webpage, you know that I'm always talking about the ranch and my grandma and my grandpa. I was born in Midland, Texas, which is out in West Texas. It's not too far from here. But I never really lived there. I was just born there. I was primarily raised in Fort Worth. And right outside, about 30 miles south of Fort Worth, was a place called the Little Hoss Ranch. My grandfather was the ranch manager, and it was a real life, no kidding, working Texas cattle ranch. And when I was a boy, I used to think that they owned the ranch. You can imagine how heartbroken I was to find out that they didn't actually own it. But my grandma made this for as long as I can remember. And I grew up also at the Little Hoss Ranch. I spent a lot of time out there. Now, I put the onions in the okra. I put the butter in the okra. I'm going to add some chicken stock, and I'm going to add a lot of chicken stock. As a matter of fact, I'm going to add this entire can. So the chicken stock is in there, and what we're going to do now, I'm going to add some garlic. And I'm not going to be stingy with the garlic. I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And once again, remember, you can always add to it, but you can't take it out. And now I'm going to put a little bit of water in it. Not a lot. And the last ingredient are the tomatoes. And what I have here is just plain diced tomato and its juices. There we go. Into the pot they go. Oh gosh, that looks good. All right, to the stove. All right, we're back at the stove. I've got this stove turned on to about medium high. And give it a little stir. Get all this good stuff all blended together and a lot of love going on. I'm also going to add just a splash of cream. And the cream is just to give it a little bit of body. Oh, that looks so good. Oh man, that looks so good. Now, we're going to go ahead and start the chicken fried steak next, and I'm going to go ahead and move this over while I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to turn on this front one to the same deal, about medium high. I'm going to move that right over there. I'm going to actually turn this down to medium, and I'm going to put the pan back over here. right, folks, the okra and the tomatoes are boiling. I'm going to take it and I'm going to turn it down to medium low because it's just about ready. It's just a few minutes from being ready. Guess what? It's time to start the chicken fried steak, the main event. I've already got the heat on to medium. And now I'm going to cut it back just a hair past medium. And I'm using canola oil. And I'm going to put enough oil in there to come up, oh, I don't know, about 1/4 of an inch. Maybe just a little bit less in the pan. There we go. All right, folks, it's time for the main event. The way you make a really good, authentic Texas chicken fried steak is it all has to do with the flour and the seasoning. Now, what we do down here is we use just plain flour. And now I'm going to tell you everything that I just told you about adding and taking out is completely wrong. Now you want to season that flour. I put salt and pepper in here. And now I'm going to use some granulated garlic. And I'm going to go pretty easy on that. I don't want a lot of garlicky flavor in the chicken fried steak. All right, we're going to mix that together real well. Make sure it's all combined. And you may not believe this, but you can taste flour. I'm putting all of that in there. All right, the flour is ready. All right, next comes the wet ingredients, folks. And the wet ingredients for a good Texas chicken fried steak is milk, egg, and a little trick that my grandma taught me, just a tiny amount of mustard. And this is just plain old hot dog mustard. And we're going to take that and stir it up, get it all combined and ready to go. Now, folks, people in Texas are serious about their chicken fried steaks, just as serious as they are about their chili. Some folks say you make it with buttermilk. Some folks say you deep fry it. Some folks say you just skillet fry it. It doesn't matter how you make it. The only thing that matters is that it is a good, tasty dish. All right, now comes the fun part. But wait, you know what? We need to check our oil. It's been on the fire for a while. A great way to check the oil is all you got to do is just take a little pinch of flour and drop it in there, and it's ready because that flour is starting to cook. So I'm going to cut that down just a little bit, and now it's time to bread. What we're going to do is we're going to take 1 cube steak and we're going to drop it into the milk and into the flour. We're going to take that and we're going to mash it around, and then we're going to take it and we're going to put it back in the milk and back into the flour. And this time when we put it in the flour, kind of press down on it just a little bit, and you can feel it under your fingertips, or finger trips. Did I say trips? You want to take a trip? Under your fingertips, and you can feel it spreading out. And I've got a plate over here ready. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, baby, that is as Texas as you can get. All right, I got another one over here ready to go. Into the wet, into the dry. Make sure that it gets coated all the way around. Back into the wet, back into the dry. I used to do this when my grandmother made chicken fried steak as a boy. I was the one who used to bread it for. And we'll do one more. Into the wet. Oh yeah. I'm so hungry. This is going to be really, really good. And our oil is ready. So we're not waiting for anything now. Look at that. That ain't nothing but love, baby. All right, here we go, folks. Well, let me give you a little piece of advice here. Whenever you're frying anything, when you put it into the pan, drop it away from you. So you're laying it in there like that, and you're dropping it away from you. This is just in case it slips or something, it splashes, the grease goes away from you, and it doesn't get on you. Oh, listen to that. Listen to that. That's what you want to hear. That's music right there. I could probably fit the other chicken fried steak in there, but I don't want to do it because I don't want to overcrowd the pan. It'll make it cook cooler, and you don't want it to cook cooler, you want it to cook hot. All right, folks, these are ready to turn. Oh my goodness. That, my friends, is Texas chicken fried steak. Now that those have started cooking, I can go ahead and put this last one in here. It's not going to do anything bad to it. And this is just almost ready. Oh, that is just beautiful. And you should smell it. It smells wonderful. I have a plate ready that I'm going to get over here. So when they come out, we can drain them. And actually, after you turn them, it doesn't take that long to finish them. They're just about done. All right, folks, the chicken fried steak is ready, and I took them out of the pan. I have them here on a paper towel on a plate draining. Now we're going to start the gravy. The gravy that I'm going to make for you today is country jalapeno gravy. Now in Texas, nothing goes to waste when you're making chicken fried steak. So you remember the flour that we breaded it in? That's what we're going to use to make part of the roux. So we're just going to pour a little bit of that flour in there into the grease. We're using the same grease that the chicken fried steak cooked in. We're going to stir that around. Needs a little bit more. This is going to be your thickener right here. My big dad Wood, who was my grandmother's father, my great-grandfather, always said that you should make gravy with a fork. I'm not doing what he said to do. All right, that looks like that'll be just fine. Next, we're going to add some chicken stock. Now be careful when you pour this chicken stock in here, folks, because you're adding cold liquid to hot grease, and it will splatter up on you. So add just a little at a time. Now it's starting to thicken real good. Oh, yes, 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 yes. That's exactly what we're looking for. Next, we're going to add some milk. Again, just a little bit at a time. Get it all in there. More chicken stock. Now you're never going to know how your liquid thickens until it comes back to a boil. So always let it come back to a boil, and you're going to know how it's thickening. Oh, this is beautiful right here. Now I diced up about 2 jalapenos. What I did is I cut them in two, and I took the seeds and the membrane out, and in they go just like that. Oh, this is looking beautiful. I think we'll add just all of that chicken stock right now. There we go. And if you know me, I always like the cream. So I'm going to add just a little splash of cream. And that cream is going to give it a lot of body. Folks, that's it. Let's eat. All right, this is real Texas cooking right here, folks. Authentic Texas chicken fried steak with ranch-style smashed potatoes, jalapeno country gravy, and okra and tomatoes. It just doesn't get much better than that. Well, that's it for today's show, folks, and thanks for tuning in. And come back anytime you feel like it. You're always welcome. And until the next time, like I always say, may all your roads lead to Texas. Now, if you'll excuse me. Oh, man. Oh, man.